What's up guys, thanks for joining me again on this FJ40 project. This will be part 5 and I'm going to dive into removing the third member off the axle, cleaning up all the surface rust on the axle, spraying it with some rust reformer, and then we will scrape off the old third member gasket, put a new one on, put it all back together, and then we'll throw the axles back in and finish up the knuckles. So there's a lot of work to be done. Stay tuned and we'll jump right to it. Closer and see what I'm up to. So right here you can see that I cleaned and rust proofed and coated the axle right here. So that's essentially what I'm going to be doing all the way across, and I'll be doing that to the third member as well. I'm not going to take off the leaf packs and the U-bolts and do under that until we get a lift kit with leaf packs, and then I'll just touch up those areas on each side after. But we'll get in the middle for now. And I was really curious to see what it looked like inside here. I didn't want to find any chunks or metal shavings. I know it's a very low mile vehicle, but I didn't want to do all this work and have this gasket leak on me eventually. So since I had the axles pulled out, I figured might as well. I mean, this gasket's like less than 10 bucks. It's just more work. But while we're here, let's do it. Because if I procrastinate and put the axles in and rebuild the knuckles and the wheel bearings and this leaks, I have to take those axles out again, and I don't want to do work twice. So we're just going to do it all in one shot and call it a day on the front axle. Well, this was literally about an hour and a half of cleaning. That gasket is really thick stuff, and it was bonded to the diff pretty good. There's still like another half of the gasket that's bonded to the third member, so I've got to clean that all up. I hit the axle with a little bit of rust reformer, as well as the oil pan, since it was pretty bad. Time to clean up this third member. We're going to clean the gasket mating surface for the axle, and I'll be wire brushing all of the surface rust off. That way we can hit that with rust reformer as well and have it protected for the future. This is ready for the third member to go back in. I sprayed a little bit more under here. Under the frame was a little rusty, so I sanded it with the wire, or I wire brushed it and then hit it with a light coat. And I did the same all the way down. The outside is still factory. I have to spend more time to do the outer rail, but this lower lip was super bad. so I took care of it as far as, or as much as I could for now. There's a lot more to be done for sure, but since we have the third member out and the drive shaft, I have a lot of room, so I figured I'd take advantage and get a little bit of that done. Anyways, I'm ready to throw in this third member. I'm going to put a little bit of Honda Bond as a FIPG gasket because there are some imperfections on the third member and the axle housing, but nothing too crazy. Very light skim coat. While I was looking for the Honda Bond, I found Toyota Seal Packing FIPG, which is basically the Toyota equivalent, so we'll be using that instead. It's definitely not seated, but now it is. I put the other axle in a little bit where the two flat spots held it, so when I spun the pinion, it'll let it fall all the way in. So this one's done. Now I'm gonna spin it. Those flat spots, when it's not in line, prevent it from coming out. So that's good. The other side, since I already halfway got it in, it should just plop right in. Hopefully that's the case. Okay, one last thing we need to do is get the small bearing ready. And I will flip this over. Let me put it on something clean. And I have the nuts and lock washers and all that ready to go, so I'm not scrambling for it later on. So now we could slide this right on and get that wheel bearing in, and we'll put in the first locking ring with the lock nut, and that'll just hold it for now. Alright, I don't want to get this rotor greasy again, but I'll have to touch that bearing full of grease, which is gonna suck. Anyways. All right. There we go. That's what I was looking for. That's what we're looking for. Okay, this wheel bearing preload is something that I knew was going to tie me up, and it did. I tried following the steps that I saw on a YouTube video where they tighten to 43 foot-pounds, spin the wheel hub assembly, tighten to 43 foot-pounds, back it off, hand tighten, and then check the resistance with a fish scale, like a little hook. So it's supposed to be like 12 foot-pounds resistance. Mine is way higher. I couldn't figure it out. I went on the forums, and I Hate Mud was basically saying to skip the step of measuring with the fish scale, to do the 43 foot-pounds, spin the hub assembly, back it off, tighten it to 15 foot-pounds, put the lock washer on, the second locking nut, tighten that to 43 foot-pounds, and then hit the tabs on the locking washer. So that's what I'm gonna do. They swear by it, and I'm no one to deny it. This is my first time doing this, and hopefully the wheel bearings last quite a while. So I'm going to back this off, and we're gonna just try it all over again one more time. Should be easy now that I got everything fresh in my mind. This feels good. I am sticking with it. So we will have to bend a tab forward and backward. Which one's the best one? So this one's going back. This one will go forward. So one back, one forward. We'll clean this up and get it ready for the hub assembly. Axle's fully engaged. 3. Perfect. So that works. Now we just need to get the hardware. The nuts were all rusted up, so I got stainless nuts and split washers, just so we don't have to worry about any of that in the future. We are done with this wheel hub. We still need to do the tie rods and rebuild the caliper, change the brake lines to stainless, and then we can do it down and down. But that's all I win. You made it this far. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. It makes a big difference. And stay tuned because we will be following this build all the way through.